Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday live stream. So just like the title and thumbnail suggests, there is a little bit of volatility going on, which we didn't talk about yesterday. We talked there was going to be a relief rally. We had that. And we talked about how there's going to be some uncertainty moving forward, and that definitely hit on cue. So today, as you all very well know, we are in a little bit of a downtrend, and this is a little bit volatile, but that's crypto for you. What are you going to do? So we're down. Somehow we seem to have lost over $500 billion. And again, crypto, what are you going to do? But Bitcoin still remains over 101K. Now, but the big question is how much lower are we going to go? And I have to tell you, after we talk about today, you're going to see that it's going to be more volatile than you may have thought. So let's just jump into it. Pull the Band-Aid off. Let's start with some good news, shall we? Because I think people like good news. And this is the Smart Money Tracker. Or it's from Nansen, Smart Money Stablecoin Indicator. And this was actually referred to me by Wes over at Smart Money Tracking. He just dropped a pretty good video out, which took a look at the similarities between now and 2021 and what's happening. He believes, we're going to chop a little bit sideways, but it might be more volatile to the downside, but will not last for a plethora of time frame. So there is a good part to that, but I have to agree with him. I think there's going to be a little bit of negativity. But regardless, as far as the stablecoin indicator, hedge funds, institutions, they are considered smart money. I don't consider them smart money. I consider them big money. And when they are selling, they sell into stablecoins. They don't sell into cash. They sell into stables because they're going to be around for quite a long time. And they know that this industry is a cash cow. They're not leaving. They're just going to dump on you every so often and then buy back in, then pump the markets and then dump on you again. That's pretty much what they do. So we can see here that once they start to sell, their stable coins increase. And we had taken a look at this 3 or 4 days ago, and then yesterday as well. And we were kind of concerned because there was a big uptrend to their stable coins, which means they were selling. But look at this. And then over time, we see that we peaked out 2 days ago. And yesterday, they got out of stable coins. Now, we don't have the data for today, November 6th. But I can assume that they probably sold some more. But there was a little bit of a reverberation or a little bit of a decline in their selling. So, I mean, that is one small win. Unfortunately, we are where we're at. And then on top of that, this is from Eric Balchunas. This is a senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg. One of the guys, I believe, that called the ETF correctly a long time ago, almost 2 years now. And he states, JP Morgan, predicting Bitcoin at 170K in the next 6 to 12 months, says perp deleveraging, October 10th, is behind us, and that it's undervalued versus gold historically, which implies significant upside next 6 to 12 months. I have to agree. Over a long enough time frame, we'll probably see some increase in valuation. However, in the short term, it's looking kind of bad. And price predictions, I'm not a big fan of. I think we all know this. We did a video on how all the price predictions in 2021 were wrong. Every single one of them was wrong. And now you'll notice that everybody's super, super bearish. So maybe they're wrong as well. But reversing to the not so great news, Mike Novogratz and Galaxy, they came out and said, 200,000 by end of the year. Now they're like, we're going to put the brakes on that. Galaxy trims Bitcoin year-end target to 120,000 amid whale selling, AI competition, and gold demand. Really, it's all about attention. And with AI coming in and being the next big thing, people are like, what's the shiny new object? AI? I'm going to go that way. And I think that's where things are moving, unfortunately. But it is what it is. And this is where I believe that some of the biggest upside is going to be. Unfortunately, it's just what it is. And then also, this is a good infographic from Wintermute. Wintermute, one of the market makers and liquidity providers for Binance. We talked about them a couple of days ago. I wouldn't say it's positive or negative, but it is what it is. I think they're right here. They put this graph, and of course, data is data. And what it's showing us is that there is not a ton of new capital coming into the market. Now, it's great that we have these big sell-offs like Galaxy talks about. Hey, whale selling, and everybody's like, well, the whale sold, but we kept our head above water, so that's resilience, which is true. I happen to think that a lot of those whales that sold, they sold and they put it right back into the ETFs previously. Now it's going the other direction. So again, we take a look here. There's not much liquidity coming into the market. Yes, M2 money supply. Yes, global money supply. There is liquidity coming out, but it's not flowing into our space yet. And we can see that ETF, assets under management, the digital asset treasuries, the DATs, stable coins, and total 3M rolling, we can see they're all on a decline, if not stagnant. So even though winter mute is winter mute, this data does hold true. So I see this, and don't shoot the messenger. I have to be honest with you. I mean, I think we're going to see some negativity for a little bit of time, and then we'll rebound. How fast could that be? Anybody's guess. We're all guessing out here, all making the best educated guesses that we can possibly give. But I can tell you right now, I just don't see much movement unless we have the government open back up, unless we can get some actual real macro data coming in or economic data that Jerome Powell can say, oh, hey, we should actually really lower rates, even though one of the Federal Reserve governors said, hey, we're going to lower rates in December. If we don't have that, we're going to have problems right here. So the government has to open up, ETFs have to get approved, regulatory clarity has to get punched through, and we can't do that with the United States government closed. Hopefully they come to the table, but I doubt it very much anytime before December 1st. So if you're looking for volatility, this is it. Now it's your time. What do you want to do with this information? And I'm going to put this out, and I'm going to have everybody answer this question. Are you selling? Are you buying? Are you doing nothing? And I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to seek some information as to what my subscribers are doing. Me personally, I'm not doing much. I'm still buying Bitcoin. I'm not buying any altcoins. I think they're going to be too much of a risky aspect right now. These are the things that I'm doing, and these are the things that I see. So we have that. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section, and the hits keep coming. So the future of finance? No. Balancer, and we covered this, gosh, a week ago or so. I don't remember, 5 days. Pretty big decentralized platform, decentralized exchange. And it had a massive hack. I think they lost over $100 million. And the information came out as to what happened. And oopsie, it was a very simple exploit. Here's what it was. It was November 3rd. I thought it was way longer to go. Okay. November 3rd exploit that drained tens of millions from its composable stable pools across multiple networks, including Ethereum, Base, Avalanche, Arbitrum, Optimism, Gnosis, Polygon, Barachain, and Sonic. So all of them were susceptible. Not that it was those particular chains which was the issue. The issue was with Balancer and how they wrote the smart contract. Initial estimates of the loss quickly rose, okay, here we go, from around 70 million to over 128 million with a few hours. See, this is the thing. Like, we think that Wall Street's coming in, they're going to use all these different aspects of it for DeFi. They're not, because they're going to build their own stuff. They can't trust these wacky projects. And not that Balancer is awful. I'm sure they did their best. You know, they had some audits, and it looks like they were like, yeah, you're good to go. And they still got drained. So when I look at this, I'm like, this is not the future. Especially with Wall Street, they would rather lose, as far as like the percentage drop or a reduction in return on investment, as opposed to getting their customers' funds hacked. If their customers' funds get hacked, they get sued and go out of business. If they lose their customers' funds in a trade because they're like, hey, we just undervalued this specific trade, and we went a little bit too much, so you're down like 10%. They won't get sued because that's what they do. So there's a big difference of what's happening, and this is not, again, the future of finance. This is what happened. In its preliminary report, Balancer attributed the exploit to a rounding error in the upscale fund. God, this is so boring. Look, this is what it was. So all it did was like this. If I can get this right. So every time there's a transaction, they'll say like, okay, this is $3.22. They round down to $3. And that's just to save gas, right? So they did that. Well, the hackers found out how to do that, and they said, okay, we're gonna chisel away those fractions of a percentage of whatever is actually being put in, and they just round it down. And they did it so many times, and they wrote this program that pretty much siphoned off all the funds, and they hacked them like that. It was an error on Balancer's part, and that's pretty much what it is. So I can link it in the description, but it's very boring to read to. Oh, this isn't it. Where'd it go? Here we go. So through all that stuff I just talked about, seems pretty simple, right? I think that was the whole thesis for that movie Office Space, where Peter pretty much just kind of hacked into the system and said, yeah, I just kind of like chiseled off a couple of pennies for every transaction, and all of a sudden I'm, a multimillionaire. It's an old movie. You have to look it up. But, Balancer, this is from Suhail Kakar, who is a lead dev at LivePeer. He says, Balancer went through 10 plus audits. The vault was audited 3 separate times by different firms, and it still got hacked for $128 million. Let that sink in. And then also, it seems like as we move forward in this, it seems like we get more and more of these platforms that get hacked. Stream Finance, this is on 3rd of November, so I guess it happened on 2nd. Yesterday, an external fund manager overseeing Stream Funds disclosed the loss of approximately $93 million in Stream Fund assets. $93 million. Whoopsie. In response, Stream's in the process of engaging Keith Miller and Joseph Cutler of the law firm Perkins Coie LLP to lead a comprehensive investigation. I'm sure they're going to find it. We are actively withdrawing all liquid assets and expect the process to be completed. To keep our stakeholders informed, we will provide periodic updates and so on and so forth. So good luck to everybody who did Stream Finance and Future Finance. Anyhow, so that's that. And also, remember we were talking about liquidity? Yeah, we just had the worst week of all time. U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs bleed over $2 billion in second worst outflow streak ever. And this is over 7 days. It's not just this week, it's over 7 days. And you can see that it's brutal. So let's see, BlackRock, pretty much the biggest offenders because they have the most. And then I think like everybody's either they were in the red or they didn't buy. Wow, look at that. That sucks. So you're down 2 billion. Is that what it is? Well, 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. So yeah, so second worst week in ETF flows, which will lead to where we're at right now. And that's what's going on. So, there's one more thing. Good news, Robinhood earnings. They soared 339% in Q3. So you're like, oh, that's great. They're making a bunch of money, which they do mostly stocks. But there's a big component there for crypto assets. And I found this interesting that I think it's the VP of operations. They're like, yeah, we're not going to be a crypto treasury. It sounds good. We're not going to do it. This is from Robinhood's Finance and Strategy Vice President, Shiv Verma. He said, we spent a lot of time thinking about it. What we always try to figure out, is this the right thing for our shareholders? Is this the best use of our capital? A lot of different things we could do. Our shareholders can also buy Bitcoin directly on Robinhood, so we were making that decision for them. We have this debate constantly, and I think the short answer is we're still thinking about it. The short answer is we're not going to do it. So Robinhood, as far as like the rumors of them becoming a digital asset treasury, not happening. And then, wow, can't believe people are still here after this nothing but brutal show today. I will leave it with this. Here's some good news. Ethereum is scaling. Looks like they have 24,000 transactions per second, but there's a catch. So this is data within the last 24 hours. In 24 hours, there was a point where 24,000 transactions processed in a single second. Okay. It came from the platform, started including transactions from the perpetual futures or perp called Lighter. Transactions on Lighter even blowing the base chain out of the park, which is very fast. Processing around 4,000 TPS in comparison to base 100, 200. And again, this is in 24-hour peak. Looks like they had 24,000, but it looks like they are combining Lighter, base chain, Sonium, Optimism, Arbitrum, World Chain, and Ethereum all together to get you that 24,000. So, hey, it's better than what it was. I mean, great for Ethereum. I got a big fat bag of it. I got Arbitrum and what else do I got? And that's pretty much it. So, well, that's good news on the vegan. Look, I got to tell you, I'm sorry for being so mean and so negative today's show. I'm not negative on the crypto and Bitcoin digital assets. I'm going to be here for the long haul. I will be here tomorrow. I'll be here next week. I'll be here in 2026. I'll be here in 2027, and so on and so forth. I'm not going anywhere. It's just that these days I get kind of tired of people trying to make it to the greatest thing of all time, and it's really going to be very volatile and very difficult. All you have to do is just remember that all these difficulty and choppiness, it's a normal process of the investment process. And especially with digital assets and crypto. Remember in coronavirus. Remember when 2017 was the big run, and within like in no time we were down, 70, 80%. We hit 87% in 2017. No, excuse me, 2013. 2017 we were like 87. 2021 it was 77%. And here I don't think we're going to drop more than 60%. Maybe 50. We'll see where it goes. But that's it for tonight. Look, like tonight's video, which I doubt, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now, if you can answer my question for me, and you guys can ask me anything. Are you buying right now? Are you selling? Or are you doing nothing? And I'm not here to judge you. I'm just curious what everybody's doing. So let me know. All right. Logan says, do you still think there will still be a top 11 alt season? That's a good way to format it, Logan. Yes, I do believe that we'll have a run-up, even though I'm just sitting here telling you that that's not the future of finance. Balancer and those things are not the future of finance. Whatever is being built on the rails of Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron, whatever else, stable coins, Arbitrum for Robinhood, that is the future for those guys to do whatever they're doing. But for the other stuff, and there could be a project that comes out of nowhere. There could be Akita. There could be, I know people in the comment section were saying ICP is having a big run. It could be Zcash because of, there's a halving, I think it's today or tomorrow, for Zcash, also on the top of the fact that it's privacy network. That could be the next big thing too. Just depends. Me personally, I have it other way. So Logan, to answer your question, yes, I don't see it like Bitcoin's going to blow up and keep going and skyrocketing, and all the altcoins just, including Ethereum, crash to zero. I just don't see that happening. All right. I went all in an XRP. All right. Barcoin is the future. That sounds like something my subscribers would say. Yes. Everybody's been at the top. Yes. Nothing but more beer. That sounds good. I'm going to be doing that today, as a matter of fact. That sounds judgy. Yeah. It's like when your dad's like, okay, so I'm not going to judge you, but you need to tell me the truth. And at that point, when you're telling your kids that, you're definitely going to judge them what they say. But not me. No, not me. I'm not judging. No, seriously. How can I judge if somebody's selling something like, hey, Rob, do you have this many bills because of X, Y, and Z? No, you do not. So I had to sell, and this is why I did it. Exactly. And Gareth says, buying with what? That's a good point. Buying with what? See, this is the reason why, I divest and I kind of spread out my portfolio for different things. And like you guys know, land and real estate. And it works out because at times when other parts are low, then there's a nice little flow coming in. And it makes you not have too much stress. I mean, the stress when, of course, like, oh, the plumbing bust, or, oh, guess what? We need a new HVAC, or, oh, guess what? There's a hole in the roof, or stuff like that. Yeah, that part sucks. But on the bright side, things kind of work out over time. And you have a nice little cash flow. Tom Lee's holding. That's good news. Mary says, all information is good information. Crunk says, get a poll. Yeah, I should do a poll. It's a good point. So let's do that. Okay. Start a poll. Who is buying? I have to sell. There we go. That's an easier way to do things. They don't know. All right. Here we are. All I'm going to get ready. There was a question. Big Monkey asked, if you're going to cash out and keep your wealth in stables, you might as well keep it in fiat and send it back to your bank. At least you'll be protected with the FDIC. That's true. In the UK. Hey, here's a question, Big Monkey, and anybody from the UK and any other country that's out there. Like here in the States, for FDIC to be insured, I could have sworn it was 100,000. Maybe they increased it to 250,000. But for other people who are in like, say, like Canada and the UK and Thailand and in Australia, how much does your bank insure the funds that go into your checking account? Is it a specific amount? Does it fluctuate? How does that work? Because I'd like to see how that happens. Let's see. JP smiles. The altcoins you have bought in the past, did you hold until profit? Or did you say, hey, it's not working out, or sell? Thanks for the... Yeah, no, for the ones I didn't cash out on last time, I just kind of kept them and said, well, hopefully they'll pump up. And Theta was the one that did really good, and I should have dumped it as soon as it went up to like, what was it like, $3 at one point. Now it's down to like 60 cents, but I didn't, and here we are again. Holy yes, Benny is in the house. He's always here. Pelosi is, yes, I saw Barack Obama's post, and he said that Pelosi is retiring. And I'm like, damn it. There goes my whole investment strategy. If I can't follow Nancy Pelosi because she is the best, well, her husband's the best trader of all time, not her. If that's the case, then where am I going to ever make any money? What happened to the ETFs? Well, the ETFs can't do anything if the government is shut down, unfortunately. And once that opens up, blaster, we get to go. How important is FDV ratio on projects? Full yield evaluation, it is. I think he is talking about my alt. My question is why is Ben here and not doing the Bitcoin dominant 2-hour video we've all been asking for? Look, man, I can't keep holding up the torch forever. You have to pull your weight. Start doing some good 2-hour, 3-hour long Bitcoin dominance videos. That's all we're asking for, Ben, for Pete's sakes. Just kidding. I judge everyone all the time. Me too. I'm not verbal about it. Rob, are you going to hold the 50-week? This is the big thing. I saw Ben talking about it. I saw Nick from Coin Bureau talking about it. If we don't hold it, it looks like it's going to be a big tumble. And down we go. But again, this month is going to be very difficult, I think. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, the government opens back up. Now all of a sudden we have liquidity. The overnight repo markets can actually come into play. They can start lending out money to the different banks. Liquidity starts to flow. People actually get paid. And if they get paid, they actually spend. That's good. Tariffs come in on the side door. Maybe because of what's happening. Of course, I don't know if you guys know this, but it is going before the Supreme Court right now to see if that is constitutionally acceptable for the executive branch, aka Donald J. Trump and his administration, to raise tariffs as much as he's doing. And it looks like he might lose. But if he loses, that's okay, because then he has to go through Congress, and Congress, Republicans, and Democrats, they're almost best friends. So I'm sure they'll be able to find a middle ground. That was sarcasm. Dude says, you just said you think right now we're going down 50 cents to the highs. You suck. No, I said I think we're going down 50 to 60% from the highs, but not right now. There's a big difference in that. So I'm still the believer in the 4-year cycles. I know, crazy to think about. So we still have, and I'm pretty sure, let me do some math here. Yes, it is still Q4 of 2025, which means we have all this month and all next month to see what happens. And maybe we, like I said, November is a junk month, and down November, or I guess whatever you want to call it. Then we have a nice little ride into the Santa Claus rally that is December. And then maybe we extend into a little bit of a Q1 type of thing. Great. But at some point, that we will go down, right? So I'm not saying like tomorrow we go down 50%. I'm just saying at some point it will. So, but I get it. Sometimes I talk and I don't explicitly say what I mean. So I hope that makes sense. I put Ben in timeout 10 seconds. That's funny. Ben's here to talk about Bitcoin dominance. You know, Ben does other things besides Bitcoin dominance. He had a good video on the death cross, which apparently is very bullish afterwards. So hopefully we got that going for us. A poll. Ta-da. How is that poll doing anyhow? Wow. 60% of you are doing nothing? I can get behind that. Let's see. Aristotle Plato's here with all his thumbs. D.A.N says, you asked again, Rob, how important is the fully diluted valuation in a crypto project or entire project? It's pretty important, especially if you take a look at the unlocks. So first of all, what D.A.N is talking about is a fully diluted valuation. And what we're saying here is, let's go through this. Let's take, I don't know what this stuff is. Let's go to pick something random. No, not Anchor. Anchor's been around forever. And stop on a whammy. Let's see. I don't know what this is. Paycoin. So the market cap right now is 74 million. This is ranked 560. I have no idea what this coin is. The fully diluted valuation, 138 million. So if you had a circulating supply, look here, this is what it is. If you have a circulating supply of 1,022,576,439, that's not what the total fully diluted valuation is. Because you have to take the total supply, which is 1.900 billion. So you're short right now about 900 million circulating supply. So roughly 900 million are just sitting back. And if you don't have that, you know that those are going to enter into the market at some point. And if when that happens, then you have sell pressure. Because once that enters in, usually where does it go to? Usually it goes into the VC hands. Not all the time, but it does a lot. So when you talk about fully diluted valuation, that is this price, 138 million, or what is the price? 7 cents, which is going on right now, times the circulating supply gives you the market cap. 7 cents times the total supply gives you the fully diluted value. I think it even says here. Fully manages the theoretical market cap of a coin of an internal supply is in circulation, which is not. Here's a prime example. So right now, you just have to understand, like, well, first of all, you have to understand, like, well, what are the unlocks? Unfortunately, it doesn't have the unlocks here. Let's see. What would be a good example? Oh. ICP is doing great, right? 24 hours, 7 days, 1 month, 3 months, still doing pretty good. 1 year, and then max. Here's the problem. So, during this time frame, there wasn't that many tokens circulating. There was an unlock schedule. And let's see if this one has it. Damn it still doesn't have it here. Well, you used to have like an unlock schedule. Now I guess CoinGecko would get away with that. So at that point, when they started to unlock the tokens and it got in there, it's pretty much the same thing that the American government does when they debase the currency. They turn the money printers on, money gets into the market, dilutes the market, valuations go. So that, to answer your question about D.A.N, it's pretty important. It just depends on where those unlocks go to. Is it going to go to VCs? Is it going to go to the team? Or is it going to go into the hands of the community? But again, that's also sell pressure. So it's a long answer, but it's important. Let's see. Big Monkey says 250K in the US, 85K in the UK. It's pretty good for insurance for your banks. Very nice. How does ADA get so much hate, but in the last year it's more than Link? I don't know how, if anything should go up, it'd be Chainlink. That is a great project and everybody needs it. And it's like, doesn't do anything. She was the most powerful woman in US history. Yeah. Joe says, you shouldn't ban people just because they ask them a question. You need to have a heart and be free in Cyprus. I didn't ban anybody. If it's one of the wrenches, the administrators, I'm going to have to ask who banned somebody and why did you ban them? Because we only ban people who are spammers. We believe in the First Amendment here. Let's see. I held ICP for 2 years, gave one a drop of $3. I don't blame you. Link sells unlocks. Very nice. Santa says, ho, ho, hold. That is a title of an upcoming video, I can tell you right now. Oh. Joe says, Ben already left and I didn't get an answer from him if he's a Zionist. Okay, well, I mean, Joe, you can ask the question. I just don't think anybody's going to answer that. Let's see. All right. Just started using Fidelity. Oh, there you go. Mary says one of her say. Let's see. Half in circulation. Yeah, that's a good question. How does Stake and Shake do Bitcoin? I believe it's through Lightning Network because they can't use the main chain because they do that. It would just be pretty much an awful experience. Well, it wouldn't be an awful experience. I mean, like, what are the rates right now for Bitcoin? Let's find out. Bitcoin rates. Fees. And here we are. Oh, you probably want to see this. So, everybody, Bitcoin transaction fees. Here they are in all their glory. Can you? There we go. So as of I see. November 5th, the average transaction fee is $1.08. Huh. $1.09. On November 2nd, it was 56 cents. 82 cents. You know, I got to tell you, for a company, a retailer, well, in this case, it is a fast food restaurant, for them to say, hey, we accept Bitcoin, just run it through this, and they have you pay the fee, that's a pretty great deal for them. Because, you know, when you run your Visa card or MasterCard or debit card or whatever else, it is the vendor that pays that fee. And I can tell you from experience, it really is a lot over time. So no wonder Steak and Shake likes that. Yeah, which would make you think, like, why don't other vendors do the same thing? They should. All right. What did I miss? Did I miss anything? Yeah. Thoughts on Sonic? None. And this is a good way to leave it. So, everybody, if you're going to travel the next, especially next week, I would try to hold off on that, because apparently air traffic controllers, we can't pay them because they are government employees here in the United States. And because of that, we're having backups after backup after backup. I personally was on the tarmac for an hour and a half flying from Puerto Rico to Houston, and that was last week. So I can only imagine how bad it's going to get coming up. That's it for tonight. So look, like today's video, which I got to tell you, it would be pretty difficult to say because it's very negative. Thumbs up, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of your evening. Thanks so much. Adios.